Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Odwul Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. I am doing, what can I call it? The country, I want to be speaking to, my idea is to pick with everybody from every country on earth.
Wow.
And talk to them about their country. And so there is a way I look at a country. There are ways the people living in that country look at that country.
Sure.
So, ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet, I welcome to the studio Philemon Okwong.
Oh.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
So, Okwong is Nilotic.
Okwong is a Nilotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What brings you to the city of glasses, Nairobi?
Oh, I like the way. Sure, just like you said, the impression people have about their countries. You know, you see how now it's the city of glasses. Sure, I don't know how to call Kampala, but sure, Nairobi is a very beautiful town.
Yeah.
I come for business.
Okay.
Wow.
What's your business?
Basically, I do business of trainings, coaching, and also, of course, tourism. So it keeps me going. Yes, when I come here for trainings, I've been training a few hospitality people here in Kenya, hoteliers, and it's been amazing.
Okay.
Wow.
You love training people.
I love getting the best out of people.
What do you think is the one thing that people don't know about themselves?
Their potential.
Explain.
It's just like an ego. Most people like egos living among the chicken.
Yeah.
Because of all growing up, all they know about themselves, this is how we should be. I shouldn't say this, but some of the children, the people around you, let this not happen with your children. Seeing you living a mediocre life and later say, this is the standard of our life. This is how dad used to be. And so your children will later take up the benchmark of your life. Your success becomes the epitome, the best of everything that could become. So that's why I said a potential. So most people have never realized that they can do much more than they are doing right now. Yeah, so the fact is that for you to get the best out of yourself, you must have the knowledge of what you do and the peak of that you can do.
How do I begin to do that?
How do you begin to do that? Of course, you have to align and know. You see, I always tell people, you can never go to a place that you've never known about, not just been here. So you have to have a vision of the place. You have to have a vision of the place. You have to know what you want. So you work towards, exactly that which you want. If, for example, this is one of the biggest platforms of the podcast, Dialogue with Jagero. One time I was reading, I read your posts. I was reading something about you and you're saying, while you're growing up, you wanted to become a journalist. But along the way, life hit you left and right. But still you fought your way back into what will bring you. So you knew what you wanted. And that's now, you find your passion and you bring the best out of it. So people should know what they want, align the vision that goes to it, and work for it. Yeah.
What are some of the things that prevents people from achieving what they want?
Things that prevent people from achieving what they want. I'm starting from a very funny point of view. Most people don't know what they want. That's one. Most people don't know what they want. But there are those who really know what they want, really. Yeah. And so what exactly will they do to get what they want? Most people fail to get what they want because of different factors, very many different factors. If maybe I could talk business, others lack the knowledge of the business that they're doing. If it's about personal development, others, lack inspiration. Someone may be watching Dialogue with Jagero every day and all they think about, I want to be like that guy. But if you don't have such a person who inspires you to become that, you don't have the energy, the drive to move on. So that's what limits most people. I don't want to call it resources. One time I wrote a book, How to Start a Business Without Money, and someone told me, how can you talk about without money? So we shouldn't look at that limitation. We look at what inspiration do you have, what's a goal, what's a vision, and what's a fight that you have.
It is very difficult, though, to start a business without money. What were you saying in that book? Were you lying to people?
No, I can't lie. I can't lie.
What did you mean by you can start a business without money?
Like I always say, my great friend, is that money is not the business. when I say starting a business without money, when I talk about the business aspect, it's the idea. I remember one time we talked about it actually. I say, have to start a business without money. First have the idea. If I have the idea, I could have a rich man like you here who can finance my idea. Do I need to have the money?
No.
I need to have the network. I need to have the right people. I have to have the brilliant idea. I need to have an idea that people can buy. Everything right now, this microphone was an idea. All right? And someone paying for it, what does it mean? He literally must have started without money, and some people funded it. That's why today we have venture capitalists and people investing into people's businesses. That is a topic for another day. But people, we can start businesses without money.
Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
And then we are going to talk about Uganda.
Okay.
And then we are going to talk about entrepreneurship
Yeah.
for kids, how to teach young kids how to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people, for us, we were in school and we were taught that once we leave school, we are going to be employees.
Yeah.
We are going to be workers.
Yeah.
Which is not a good thing. But now, what do you do when suddenly you finish the university
Yeah.
and you realize that there are no jobs at all? So we are going to talk about that.
Wow.
And then we are going to cap it up with market. Did you say marketing, right?
Yeah, with something about business networking.
Business networking.
Yeah, business and social networking.
Business. So tell me about yourself. Where were you born? Were you born in the northern part of Uganda?
Philemon Okwong was born in the northern part of Uganda. I'm a typical Alur Jonam. If you ever hear about the story of Gipiri and Labongo, where the Luos moved from Bahar Gazelle and went and settled in a place called Pakwach. Povungu, actually. Povungu. You know, that whole story of Gipiri and Labongo, that's where I come from. So I am the indigenous of the Luo people. So I was born in northern part of Uganda.
Pakwach.
Yeah, Pakwach.
You have traveled a lot. The other day I saw in Asia, you've been to Europe, you've been to America, you're traversing the African continent. When you were growing up, what kind of household did you grow up in? Did you grow up as the only child? How many were you? What were your father doing? What was your mother doing? How was it like? Did you believe that? Did you, as growing up as a child, did you know that you'll be in the city of glasses teaching people about networking?
I love the emphasis on the city of glasses, though. That's amazing. Yeah, so I grew up from a very humble background. My father was much more of a social worker, by then working maybe with NGOs, seeing how to support people within the community. He's a man who loves agriculture so much, so he was more of a farmer. So as much as he did his social work, he so much prioritized on education. I love something that you said before. While growing up, the best that any parent would think about any child is give them a good education. Go to good school, get good grades, come out, get a job, marry, start your life. That was the whole process. So I so happened to come from a very polygamous family. We're very many. So at times the fight for territory. My dad always told us, the only thing I'm giving you is an education.
How many wives were there?
You know, they say in an African man, you can't count children and all that. Yeah, so my father others from also, so we are quite many though. Yeah, we are quite.
That's a lot. Anyway, that is nice. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So from there, from Pakwach, I remember we later picked up, he brought, we didn't have a home in the city. We had no home in the city. So, in the African tradition, someone in the city and your father will tell you, oh, you have to go and stay with an auntie and uncle. So he so happened to come and stay with an auntie who lived in the city, So we grew up from the auntie's place while going to school. Now, coming to the city, something happened. And I think that was the goal of our father. It gave us exposure. Something that everyone needs today is exposure. It opens your eyes and your mind to the real world and to inspiration. So we went to school, and later on I had my first degree. And then for my master's, I pushed myself to go back for it. Because my father, once you're done with your first degree, he's done with his part. The rest is yours. So when I did my master's in business administration, Makero, such a great university. I see you praising the city of the glass, and the best university in Africa is in Uganda. So we had.
Is that so?
Yeah. So that's how I started up with life. But there's something very intriguing about my career, especially at the university. I went to the university. My first degree, I did bachelor's in computer science. I thought I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be someone who knows something to do with computers. But why? Because I had an uncle who was much more into ICT. So I drew my inspiration from someone I was seeing around. But let me tell you, I was drawing an inspiration from someone, but I think it was not what I was called to do. Along the line, I find myself as much more of an entrepreneur guy. So I studied basically to just get the grades. And I loved it at a certain extent, but I was not finding fulfillment. That's something that I love about life. I want to do something and I find a sense of fulfillment. That even if the girl didn't pay me money, but I did something, I'll go back home. Wow. Yeah, I've added value to somebody. So I became much more of an entrepreneur. So I used to sell things. You see me here? I used to sell ladies' patras in hostels. I became a hawker.
Ladies what?
Patras.
What is a patra?
I wish we had a lady to explain. There's some short, skimpy, basically, not to go deep into that lady's clothes. Tights.
Ah.
Yeah, so
I don't know how you'd be selling tights. I mean, how do you go looking, waiting for women to fit them?
At the university, that's the trend of the life. That's a lifestyle of how they dress. So you have to look at who are my target market that I'm going to sell to? What do they love? So people want to buy what they love. So I saw that I would raise some money, have my upkeep, have myself growing up. So I was more of an entrepreneur guy. I was once, how do you call them in Kenya? I used to work in a washing bay, washing cars.
Washing cars.
While at the university. Look at the kind of attitude. There's no campusers, we call them, people from the campus university who would say, let me go and wash cars and get some money. I did that. My goal was not who is seeing me. My goal was, what can I do to get me what? Money and satisfying. So from there, we graduated. And during the graduation, something very interesting. In my family, no one had ever had a graduation party. So I wanted to break that barrier. I wanted to create a sense of inspiration to my siblings and later to the children in the future. By then, I wrote a book. While leaving the campus, I wrote a book entitled The Frustrated Graduate, Educated But Not Learned. When it's not about degrees and certificates, but the creativity in you that matters. So the title of the book really never polled to everybody. No one wants to be identified as a frustrated graduate. So I knew the only way to get money, I have to sell books. But I could have a party. I went booked for a hotel. And guess what? You think we were going to have a buffet? Buffet? No. I organized I had the first graduation party in my family where we only took tea and some snacks. But the whole point was I wanted to sell my books. It was a book launch to me. So I invited people, they came. But why was I doing the book launch? I was looking for capital later to start off my entrepreneur journey. So people came. It wasn't so colorful, never at all. But you see, I had a drive. I would go sell my books during high traffic. Right now, I see in Nairobi, there's a lot of traffic. So the way people sell papers and newspapers on the street, I would go sell my books. I say, hey, my name is Philemon Okwong. I have this book. It's such a nice book. The Frustrated Graduate, So, but people would look at it. Others would buy out of sympathy. I didn't care. I just wanted to make money, man. I wanted all in my mind, I knew that I have bills to pay at the hotel. If I don't sell, I won't be able to pay at the hotel.
You are looking for books so that you can have the party going?
No, I already had a message. I felt my 3 years at the university really didn't benefit me much. And okay, with due respect to those watching, I don't know how your university was, but mine? Yeah, I felt really was just going through the tantrum of education, the colonial system, do this and do that.
Can you be honest about that, Kwong? I think that I agree with you that, anyway, as I sit with you here, I am very uneducated. I am not very learned like you. I don't have a master's or a degree, but I see those people that have gotten degrees around. sometimes you go to the university, but I think it goes back to the promise that we were given.
Sure.
That once you are finished with the degree, you are good. The next time you step out there, you're going to get a job.
Have to get a job.
And
Yeah.
you realize that now. I remember one of my uncles. In our family, we are not very educated. My brother left school in class 6. I don't know what that is in
Is it in a primary section?
Yeah, that's the primary
That's
one.
P6, primary 6
And
too.
then the guy went over to I don't know, they had a disagreement. And I remember him telling my brother that who the hell do you think you are? You cannot compare yourself to me. I have boys that are going to become graduates. You cannot compare yourself to them, which was true at the time. But right now, if you look at graduates, it's not a big deal.
It's not.
It's not a big deal, and I wonder what you think about our education right now, because parents are putting a lot of money in education. If you look at a university like, let's say, I don't know the private universities in Uganda, but you can imagine that parents pay up to 10,000 USD in a year,
Sure.
taking them through university.
Sure.
That is minus accommodation, minus the food, and minus the pocket money for parties.
Sure.
But what do you think about that? Because you have said that you felt like you were just going through the colonial system. If you are the president of Uganda right now, or you are in education, would you propose something different?
Yeah, especially for Uganda, we have actually good things happening.
Yeah.
The Ugandan education curriculum is actually being changed and transformed. They're leaving the aspect about copy notes, cram, paste. That actually, Uganda has done that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still at a much lower level. Yeah. And there's something they're also doing at the universities. They're phasing out a lot of irrelevant courses.
Yeah.
You find someone doing a bachelor's of social works and administration. Just because you want to go and work in a what? Maybe in an NGO and something. But also the relevancies. I don't want to discredit the education system because it played a certain part. But really, when it comes to reality of life, real life goes beyond speaking English. You can have some good English, but really, when you get down there to do the real work, we have good people. We have people who speak good English. Come on.
Yeah.
But really now, put them on the table to bring something on the table. Come up with a product. Come up with an idea that will really be helping your community. Now, that is creativity. You don't need to go to school to become creative.
Yeah.
You don't need that. So, education system needs to really be channeled into more creative, practical aspect. The world has changed.
And I think that's why you've written that book, Entrepreneurship for Kids, how to bring up kids as entrepreneurs.
Yeah, the entrepreneur kid.
We are going to get back into that.
Oh.
But now we want to talk about, we have talked about Silicon Savannah, we are talking about blah, 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 we are talking about Wakanda. Africa, oye. Have you heard about it? I know about Kenya. The last time I was in your country, I was very disappointed, my friend.
Okay.
I was very disappointed. I found Kampala in disarray.
Okay.
I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where I was going. There were tractors all over the city.
Okay.
They were building roads, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have never liked Uganda for the city Kampala for the jam. Like, you can't really tell what time you're going to arrive at a particular place.
The traffic.
The traffic is unbelievable.
Sure.
Obviously, you get out of Uganda into Barara, that I really, really love. Very quiet, beautiful city. I was one in Gatuna border, the forested part of Uganda. Amazing. The other day, I went to... I took a boda and went up the mountain into, I don't know what that place is called. They have a river up there in Kampala, up the road.
Gaba, Muyenga side.
All the way up.
Yeah.
And I found a very serene part of Uganda. What I'm trying to say is that Uganda is a very beautiful. When people ask me my best country in East Africa, I always say Uganda.
Sure.
Without batting an eye.
What makes you think Uganda? What makes Uganda best to you?
The organic nature of Uganda. You go to Uganda. First of all, I rate their people very highly. I think Uganda are the friendliest people.
Yeah,
in East Africa.
Very much in terms of hospitality.
Yeah, the friendliest people. I think Uganda comes first. Tanzania comes the last. Comes the last. The food, what I love about Uganda is that the kind of aggressiveness that we see in other parts of East Africa is not there. So if you go to a restaurant, you'll be served very good portion. In fact, if you come to Kenya, you'll find CJs that has got roots in Uganda.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Cafe Javas.
Cafe Javas.
They were not allowed to use that name here in the country.
Oh.
Yeah.
They had to use CJ.
I think they had a tiff with Java. So they had to say CJs to differentiate themselves. I think even in Uganda they had a tiff. They went to court.
But it's a big brand there.
It's a big brand.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so I love that for Uganda. When you go to a restaurant, they give you good portion. And in Uganda there is lots of food.
Yeah, we have plenty of food, really.
The prices are very low.
Low.
You know, and the land is still very easily available.
Very fertile.
People that are in the economic status that I am in are affording land in Kampala and building. Fred Abu has afforded land in Kampala and built a big house. Like the last time I was there, Abu was having, I think, a 4-bedroom house in the middle of the city. That is not something that's not something you can do in Nairobi.
Wow.
You know, so that is something I really, really love about Uganda. But I want to ask you about your country. When you look, are you happy with your country?
Very much.
Yeah. What makes you happy with your country?
First of all, Uganda is a very beautiful country.
Yeah.
But in terms of nature, in terms of people, you know, one time someone made fun that Uganda is the only place that even if you're a foreigner and you're visiting Uganda, you ask somebody for a place to go, a Ugandan will literally take you there where you're going.
Yeah.
Unlike when you go to Nigeria and ask somebody, I would like to go to this place, they may take you somewhere else, you know. They look at you like an opportunity. So Uganda, one of the things I love about my country is a fact, before even anything, you know, one gentleman one time said that love should never have a reason. So the first reason that I love my country is with no reason. It's just because I'm Ugandan. Yeah. Yeah. Really, the citizenship of Uganda is, I'm proud to be a Ugandan. That is one. Number two, what makes me really enjoy my country? That's why every time I travel and I come to the city of glasses, no matter where, I miss food.
Tell me about that.
I miss food.
What do you mean you miss food when you're in the city of glasses?
Come on.
No, you know. Let me tell you something, Okwom.
Yeah, sure.
East Africa is your country, and when one part of East Africa is failing, you should be able to say it on this podcast. I had a lady from Cameroon coming here, and she told. Do you know what she told me about Kenya? Yeah. That I am always hungry.
The only food we know here is some posho, and you eat a lot of meat.
Yeah.
A lot of meat and some rice and sukuma wiki. Full stop. What else do you have, really? Even if we moved right now to the restaurant, that's what you have. So unless if you're a fast food person, you go have that. But let's talk about the organic food aspect. I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss that. Then the weather, of course, we could share a few, but we still have the best. I find Uganda, we have very good weather and all that. Yeah, so...
as far as weather is concerned, I would say we are just the same. They're not very different.
Not so much, but I enjoy more. Nairobi is a little bit chilly, a little bit sometimes in the morning, and Kampala is Kampala.
Now that you're talking about food, let's talk about Ugandan food. What is your staple food in Uganda?
It depends on which part of Uganda you come from.
Let's talk about...
If it's central Kampala, everyone will love to eat matoke and chinyewa, all the G-nuts. That's the basic. You understand? But we have multiple. In Uganda is the only place I've traveled to. Now I'm speaking for the kind of, not the upper class. Yeah? You enter a restaurant, and let me speak it in Luganda, they'll say, Mere yonna. Mere yonna means give me all foods.
Oh, how is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible. And at less than $1, sometimes a much lower person. All foods. They'll give you pumpkin, they'll give you yams, they'll give you posho, they'll give you rice. All foods. It's only the sauce that you choose. Okay, I want with meat, but all foods.
All starches.
But different. And they'll give you greens at less than $1 in some places. So we have the food in plenty and very organic, and we live. So I give credit to our farmers. I give credit to our farmers. You know, sometimes we think about farming for export a lot, which is good. But how are you harboring the people within the country? I hope people are not starving in Kenya because you're exporting a lot of things.
Sometimes I feel like there are lots of Kenyans who are actually starving, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think there is a lot of hunger and starvation in this country.
Is it a population vis-a-vis production rate?
Well, you know, there are parts of this country that are extremely dry.
Yeah.
Like they can go for long periods without rainfall. The politicians have been given money to develop those places, but they don't develop those places. They take the money and they pocket it. So we have got arid and semi-arid areas in this country that should be doing really well agricultural-wise. You know,
sure.
Some people say that there are parts of this country, if you give it to Israelis.
I was actually going to come to that. When you're talking about arid and semi, I said, we have people. Look at Israel that you're talking about.
Yeah. So we are having a lot of hunger here. Most of our farming is subsistence. We are waiting for the rain and praying for the rain, which I think that God has given us the opportunity and the capability to think outside the box and not to look into heavens. I mean, God is seated somewhere in heaven or wherever he is, and he's saying, look, I am giving these motherfuckers 4 months of rain. And they just let it go into the ground, all of it. And then after 4 months, they are praying to me to give them another rain because their crops are getting are drying up. So, but I think that so if you ask me if Kenyans are hungry and starving, a lot of this country is starving and hungry.
There's a time I saw something funny about Kenya where farmers were being restricted on, in case you want to participate in farming a certain type of crop, you have to be registered and all that.
Yeah, I also heard about it, but I think registration means giving money to the government.
So the food basket of every country are the farmers.
Yeah.
But also, we are missing out the farmers of today. And I think that's a very important point to talk about.
Yeah.
The generation we are getting in are not so inspired about farming. Everyone wants to grow up and be the tech guy. Everyone wants to be the engineering guy. Who is going to be the farmer? How are we drawing inspiration into farming? To be honest, I don't know what contributes to the biggest GDP of Kenya. But what we grew up in Uganda knowing agriculture is the backbone of economy.
I think we also these are the boys from school. Can we ask them, what is our economic whatever, young man? Is it farming?
I think right now in a drop. I don't think it's farming, like agriculture is like, but before it used to be.
It's just, we grew up knowing it's agriculture.
I still think that Kenya is agriculture. I think it is farming. It's still farming.
Yeah, Kenya, you're so blessed. You have the tourism. You're doing so well in terms of tourism, but no, I know it's not a benchmark of your economy. You're also doing so well in terms of you are the border coast. So quite a lot of import and exports going on. Yeah, so
Uganda is landlocked.
We are landlocked. We depend on some neighbors in the glass city somewhere.
And then do you know something interesting?
Yeah.
That you get oil from here, transport to Uganda, and it's still cheaper in Kenya, in Uganda than it is here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that depends on how your country sets the oil prices.
Apart from the starches that you have mentioned, what are your cheeses? The ones that you take with the rice, take with the
Okay, apart from the rice, by the way, remember we have the biggest part of Lake Victoria is in Uganda.
You stole it from Kenya.
No, we didn't steal it from Kenya. Kenya just has a small portion.
Is that so?
Yeah.
I wonder how you divide a lake, though. How do you divide a lake?
Actually, a week ago, we were talking with a friend, and he told me that initially, the whole of Lake Victoria belonged to Uganda. And there's a paper actually was showing me that Uganda had its boundary around Naivasha.
The Indian men bullshit.
So really, Uganda had its borders around Naivasha. But the colonials.
Do you actually think that you are coming all the way to Uganda to Naivasha? Do you believe it?
No, but actually,
no. I want your opinion. By the way, I want your opinion. By the way, do you think that do you think that Uganda was?
I want to believe Kisumu was once in Uganda.
I also think so.
I want to believe.
In fact, we should have been in Uganda. Ask Kisumu people.
Yeah, I want to believe Kisumu people in Uganda.
Yeah. I would like it to be like that even today. I'm telling you, what is it to be on this other side of the country? What is so good about this side? Only the internet.
So that's what, when I was reading the paper, that's what it was. So I think the colonialists really, it's divide and rule. They knew if we gave this lake to just one country, so we should apportion it to at least see that there's some economic activities. In case these people later become stubborn, we have an entry point. That's my thought. I'm just thinking about that. But really, are we utilizing the lake economically? As Uganda really, are we really utilizing Lake Victoria?
I think there are Chinese there.
As locals, are we utilizing it? What's the economic benefit of these lakes to us?
You tell me, because you have a tourism farm.
I'm into tourism, but much more into the other kind of nature. But the little that I see with our Lake Victoria, we are really not commercializing, monetizing. We're not creating value for it. It makes no sense to just have a lake and say, Ugandans are There's a time I love statistics.
Yes.
Either 5 years ago or 6, there was a time I was reading something about Kenya, that in your country, one of the highest influx of people that come into Kenya are Ugandans. And why do Ugandans come into Kenya? The coastal line. They're coming to Mombasa. But we have Lake Victoria. How can we attract people to use the lake?
If somebody gave you billions, you could build something around there.
We could think about something there.
Then there is that.
Look at Egypt.
There is a hotel next to when you're coming out of Kampala towards the lake. No, not Entebbe. Just here in Kampala.
Okay.
Up.
That is Peak Resort.
Yeah.
In Munyonyo.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
You should have many of that.
We should.
Yeah.
We should. And now, you're not going to have one investor come and do that. Maybe hard. That's why if we could think how we can come up with a very creative idea. There's something I love about Kenya. Okay, I'm overpraising the city though.
You overpraise it, man.
A little bit though.
Yeah.
There's something I love about Kenya, especially your transport system. They call them matatus. Those are...
Yes. The taxis.
The taxis. I realize most of them belong to cooperatives.
Yeah. Not
individuals.
Yeah.
So it becomes easy to be a shareholder of a certain matatu, as long as you belong to a what?
To the
now, can the Kenyans take it to another level beyond the cooperative of just a matatu, and we have such hotels, and we have apartment, condominiums around, such kind of a mind. So when you talk about it, they gave me money. If we can get that money, we can do something.
You ran away from the question I was asking you. I think you wanted to talk about fish.
Which one? No, food. Yeah, I was coming to fish actually.
Yeah. So
we have really beef.
Yeah.
Just for your information and for the praise of Uganda, the most beautiful cows in the whole world are found in Uganda, and they're called the Ankole cows. And they're found in the western part of Uganda. Very beautiful, well-carved horns. I believe you've seen those cows.
Yeah, I see them when I'm traveling from Kampala.
They literally export those cows.
Why do they export them?
No, the people are buying them. South Africans are buying quite a lot of such cows.
They're buying from Ugandans or from Museveni?
They're buying from Ugandans. Uganda is a country. And Museveni is a Ugandan.
Fair enough. Museveni is a Ugandan.
Museveni is a Ugandan. So they're buying from Uganda.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so we have beef, and we have plenty about that. We have fish.
But you've not told me why they love the cow. They love it for the show of it, or there is something they love about it?
In terms of milk production.
Oh, I see.
In terms of milk production. That's why if you talk about any land of milk, it's in the western. You're in the western Barra part and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so good in terms of milk production, actually. But also, as it goes on, we get part of the beef from it.
Yeah.
So that's one. We have beef, we have fish. Uganda, I think a very big part of Uganda is waterlogged. We have a lot of rivers, lakes. You get the point. So we have a lot of fish, except a certain country that only has a little part of a lake, and that's where the fish comes from. The rest of the fish that you get is from the ponds. I'm talking about Nairobi.
Yeah. We have got a very big problem with fish here in the country.
It's only you get your fish from
Kisumu.
Actually, that's why I told you that was Uganda. Literally,
I believe you.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I don't know.
And by the way, the lifestyle.
Imagine if
even the lifestyle of the people.
I would have loved to see the tiff between Museveni and Raila and how that would go, because then we would be squarely in Uganda.
That would be too much of violence again. That would be too much of violence.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we have talked about food, of course you are having the KFC, you are having the CJs, you're having the Javas, you're having, the Ugandans visit them a lot, or the KFCs and all those things are left for the people, the high-end people, upper middle class?
It's upper middle class, but with the trend in terms of health, to people. You've been to most of the developed countries and Europe and especially let me come down to Africa, go to South Africa, you find fast foods are for actually the poor people.
Yeah.
So it was just a mindset.
I was very surprised when I went to South Africa the first time and saw, KFC, nobody goes there.
Exactly.
I mean, one of the guys that was taking us around saying KFC, we don't go there.
Yeah. But the mindset of our people here, so people are becoming more becoming more aware in terms of their health. So people are there, but CJ, you call it CJ here, Cafe Javas, has a blend now. They give you both the continental, a little bit of, the organic types of food.
They give you matoke.
They can.
And Luombo.
Luombo actually is not in the CJ though, Cafe Javas. Luombo, beautiful and most. Oh,
tell me about it. Why do people love it? I hear it is the one that makes women have very big behinds. Is it true? Let's drink to that. Tell me the truth about Luombo, Bana.
I don't know what it does.
Okay.
Well, let me talk about the beauty of Luombo.
Okay, go ahead.
Because to another it will make the head big. To another the nose big. So it's just food.
Yeah.
Luombo is a very natural of cooking food. They steam food. They get banana leaves. And for example, in case you put your beef or gina, so they use it. It's steamed food. That's why it's called wombo. It's steamed food. So it's especially mostly within the Buganda. So it's a Buganda region aspect. The Buganda, the central region, not just Buganda only. We have a central region generally, but it's very beautiful. When you visit Uganda, we could try a wombo.
But I've tried it several times.
Did you do? We have different wombos.
Yes, I tried the one with beef. I tried the one with fish. I mean, I've tried so many of them. And I love it. When we are at Kisimenti, is it?
But there's a time I came to Nairobi and I found a Luombo. Someone was doing Luombo in Nairobi. A Ugandan.
Come on.
Was a Ugandan.
I would not be interested. Let me tell you, when you travel to another country and they claim that they are making food from wherever, they are lying to you.
They try.
They do?
They try.
We should try it sometimes.
Yeah, they try. So, just like when you travel out, you want to look for food that identifies with you.
Yeah.
You have to, at least you want to have a taste.
Of food.
And by the way, you understand that Africans, we're not taking advantage of what we have. Just like you said, God sits up and say, guys, I gave you rain. And I noticed These whites love our organic food. And it's the most expensive food in their stores. So what are we doing? You find an avocado in Kenya. How much is an avocado?
Avocado is 20 shillings. But I was in Norway the other day. I wasn't able to afford it. I just looked at it. Like an animal in a zoo. Didn't touch it, bro.
You get a point.
No, I don't touch it. Ali, please help us with water one. Tell the La Cantina guys to give us, what is it called? The sparkling water, yes. Cold, yes. Yeah, so, but then the other thing I wanted to talk about are the people of Uganda. Sure. I'm not sure how well versed you are with the history of the war in Uganda. When Kenyans talk about going to the streets, and people always ask me why I think Ugandans don't go to the streets. I usually think I have a reason why Ugandans don't pour into the streets during these demonstrations.
Sure.
But I want us to talk about the people of Uganda because it is very confusing for me, and I think it is very confusing for the rest of East Africa. First of all, in Kenya, we have got so many tribes, but we have got the big five, so to speak. We have the Luya, we have the Luo, we have the Kamba, we have the Kikuyu, and we have the Kalenjins.
Sure.
So those are the big five. I don't know if in Uganda you have the big five or the big four.
Something beautiful about Uganda, and I think that's what makes us a little bit hospitable, is that Ugandans are not tribal. We don't so much based on tribe. Actually, when you look into the political and everything, what kind of brings separation and everything about Uganda is the political parties. You wouldn't find a Ugandan saying, I'm a Luo, I don't like this person here. No, we don't have that. So I don't want to say we don't have a big five, no. The only thing is that when you're in Uganda, there is of course, you'll have to dance to the tune of the Uganda. You'll have to, you have to know that language. But Ugandans, we're not so tribalistic aspect, identifying ourselves much more. And also coming into, even our political aspect is not so much into tribal. Our first president, of course, I would call it the Kabaka, Then later we had the person who was the prime minister, later became the president, Obote. That's North. You get the point? So later, literally we have... we're not so much into the tribal aspect. Should we do that then?
By the way, my question is whether you guys are tribalistic.
We are not.
My question is the tribes.
The
big five. I'm just asking about the tribes.
Then
we are going to talk about whether they are fighting later.
I also think in terms of tribe. Let me categorize it in this way, maybe not to bring it down in terms of tribes.
Yeah,
we have. I would call it the regional. We are more into a region basis.
Okay.
We are
let's go region.
Yeah, we are much more into the central region, northern region, eastern, and west.
So let's start with the central region.
Yeah, that's why we have the Baganda, the
Basoga.
All the Bantus mostly
are in the central.
And the central, though the part of the Basoga in the eastern part of Uganda. Ginger is considered to be the Basoga region.
Ginger is Basoga.
Yeah.
The Basoga is a tribe.
A tribe.
So we in the central region we have the Basoga.
Part of the Basoga and also Baganda.
And the Baganda.
Yeah.
Okay. And towards the border, Busia.
We call that east now.
Oh, so that's eastern Uganda.
That's now eastern Uganda.
And that one, which tribes are there?
That one, we have the eastern is a little bit quite big. We have, quite the border here, Malaba, we have the Samias, that's in Busia.
Yes.
But we also have the Bagwere coming closer. We have the Luos, some part of they call them what? The people, the Japadola.
Yeah.
That's in around Malaba area there.
Yeah.
Then we have the Itesos. So we have eastern.
And they're all in Kenya because we have the Sami in Kenya, we have the Sami in Uganda.
Yeah.
We have the Iteso in Uganda, we have the Iteso in Kenya.
Yeah.
And then we have the Padola in that other end.
Exactly.
We have them this side.
Exactly.
They spill all the way past Busia, all the way to Kisumu.
You see
which was formerly Uganda. You see, it all makes sense, right?
Exactly.
I wish I was in Uganda. But I would hate it because there would be no internet.
we have internet.
Nothing.
We have
We are
internet.
going to talk about internet. Up to recently in 2020, my friend could not watch Netflix.
Sure. It depends on what package and bundles your friend was buying.
But you see, now it has to be bundles. That's the problem.
Of course, in this world.
Let's go back to the people.
You buy it what you can afford. Okay?
Let's go back to the people. Then we go Western.
Yeah.
Western is Mbarara.
Yeah, we have the part of the Mbarara, Kabale, quite a number of them now. That's the western part of Uganda.
So the Western now has which tribes?
We have the Banyankole, Bachiga.
Banyankole?
Yeah.
I thought Banyankole were in Central.
No, they're in the western. That's Western Uganda.
Oh, really? So those are Banyankoles?
Yeah.
In Western Uganda?
Yeah.
Bachiga?
Bachiga. Bahimas. Those.
Bahima?
Then even you go deep into.
Bahima?
Yeah.
Bahima, are we not talking about Rwanda?
Some are in Rwanda, some are in Uganda.
This is how close-knit East Africa is.
Exactly.
I hope that you're enjoying Dialogues with Jagero. Now, I have interrupted this program to tell you something amazing that I have been doing for the last 1 year. I've been writing another book. But before I tell you about this, I want to tell you something. 92% of podcasts that have been started die in their first 3 to 6 months. That is not a good thing. Just after writing 18 Hustles for Africans, which has sold thousands of copies, I have written another book called The Playbook. The Playbook is about YouTube and podcasting and how to go big the way I have done in the last 1 month. And in this book, I have done everything to make it easier for you, discovering the secrets of crafting captivating narratives that hook viewers and leave them wanting more. I have put that in the book. How about creating compelling videos? From scripting and storyboarding to shooting and editing, this book provides a comprehensive framework. But again, everybody wants to make money. That's why I've talked about monetizing your content or your channel. In this book, you'll explore multiple revenue streams, from ad revenue to brand partnership and selling your own products to turning your passion into a huge profit. Now, this book has got proven strategies, and I am the king of social media. I go viral. So how about leveraging social media? Learn how to effectively promote your YouTube channel or podcast across various platforms, reaching a wider audience and driving traffic to your videos. This book also has in-depth insights, and I cannot fail to talk to you about this. What people do not know is the algorithm that runs behind every podcast and YouTube. Now, this guide decodes the complexities of the YouTube algorithm, revealing how it influences video ranking, recommendation, and overall audience engagement. If you want to know how to get this book, or rather this ebook, I have left everything in the description below. So, how much is the book? The book is 1,500 only. And now, back to programming. Before we go on, I want to give you a question.
Yeah.
Don't answer it with a lot of words. Okay. Do you think we would have been a better country as the Republic of East Africa?
I think so.
What makes you think so?
We would effectively use the resources within this continent. That's why the aspect, if you realize, there's a push for the East African community, but it is not working.
And I wonder why.
Why is it not working? We are still, everyone still wants to be a king in their kingdom. They're not looking at the bigger picture.
What would be the bigger picture?
The bigger picture, let's look at the East African. By the way, let me be honest with you. How often do you trade with Uganda?
A lot, I think.
What do you trade there? How often do you know? I'm meaning you, not the country, not Kenya. You as an individual.
No.
I'm meaning you as an individual.
I don't think so.
That's the point. You as an individual. Don't you think we have opportunities in Uganda? How many people in Uganda should right now be listening to Dialogue with Jagero? But why are we not having that?
Yeah, my followership in Uganda is about 7,000.
You get the point. We can get more. Now, if you knew that the whole of East African Republic was a country, you'd stretch. But now you try to limit yourself into the, the borderline. It pains me at times, let me go a little bit outside East Africa. A Ugandan, I need a passport, a visa, to go to South Africa. I know Kenyans you don't need. Uganda
But
needs
we fought for it. We fought for it. We fought for it like Ugandans. South Africa banned me for going into that country for 1 year. Do you know what I did?
But
I was stayed my visa for 2 days.
Only.
Yes, they gave me a ban for 12 months, not to be seen next near the border.
And it is in Africa.
And you see, when they lifted it, they still took me into custody at the airport. When I showed up after my expiry.
And you were still in Africa.
I was still in Africa.
I don't know whether it irritates you.
Yeah, we might talk about Africa, but let's
So coming down to East Africa,
yeah,
that's the point I was trying to bring. We have quite a lot that we could integrate to do business. I want to start doing my business trainings in Kenya.
You should.
I want to do that. I want to go and do it in Tanzania. I want to go to Rwanda.
I would not recommend that.
We have opportunities there.
Yeah, but Tanzania for me is a very unfriendly country to the rest of East Africa. Very unfriendly.
No, there's something.
They need to change their attitude. They think that that Ugandans or Kenyans are thieves.
No, I don't. Ugandans and Kenyans are just more aggressive.
That's what they think.
Yeah, just to make it easier for them. These guys are just more aggressive. Very aggressive. So
but is it aggressive negative? Is it aggressive bad? Because aggressive could be negative or positive.
No, but I think it's with the positive. When you look at an opportunity and you go for it.
Yeah.
That's what And there's also something. There's a little bit of I don't want to call it sluggishness though. I don't want to call it there, but a little bit slow.
Call it.
No. Please, the editor, use the word slow. They're a little bit slow. Oh, I remember something. Okay. They are slow. They're not sluggish. I may have a problem on this podcast.
No. We are talking about East Africa, bro. And I think when we are talking about East Africa, we have to be very honest.
Yeah.
One of the things I ask people to do on Dialogues with Jagero is to say it the way it is. And the fact that that Tanzania, Tanzania has got both feet in different places.
Sure.
Do you know they have got their feet in SADC?
Oh.
Well, before Kenyans could go to, Tanzanians can go to Malawi visa free. They can go to Zambia visa free. They can go to Lilongwe. What is that one called?
Lilongwe, the Malawi.
The Malawians and the other, the SADC, the entire region.
Wow.
They can go there visa free.
Wow.
And they are also in East Africa. They also do that. So I've always suspected that they feel more of SADC than East Africa.
It gives them more opportunities.
And I don't understand why. So then let's go to we are going off the topic a lot. It's my job to bring you back.
Okay.
Then we have Ugandans to the northern part of Uganda.
Northern part, that's where we belong now.
So
now we have the northern Uganda. That's where we have the Cholis.
Yes.
That's where we have the Langos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a part of the northern Uganda. But then also we have a part called West Nile.
West Nile.
It's almost, I would call it part of the northern part of Uganda, but it's just a portion called West Nile.
Why is it called West Nile?
It's on the western part of the River Nile. You have to cross the river and then you get to that part.
You are really?
Yeah.
So you have something. You have a river.
We have a curve. If you look at the map,
you have a river here.
Yeah.
You have a river here, and the editor should be able to look for this and put it. We have a river here, and then you have to cross into Western Nile.
You have to cross into West Nile.
And it is only Western Nile that side.
And from the moment you cross West Nile, you're able to cross into Congo, DRC, and you can actually drive through to Southern Sudan.
So,
and that's where I come from.
Western Nile.
West Nile, yeah. That's where Pakwach is.
Is it the one with very big fruits along the river, along River Nile?
No, not really much, but there's quite a lot of fruits in West Nile, mangoes and all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I hear there are very big mangoes
from West Nile, very. So that we also have that part. So we have the Lur, the Yunam, we have the Madis, we have the Lukbaras and all that. Where okay, I don't know why people understand better about Uganda when we talk about Idi Amin. That's where Idi Amin came from.
How did you cross the river to come and torture people on the mainland?
Just the way you've traveled from Kisumu and you're here educating people.
About dialogues with you again.
Hey, it would have been but there's an area of influence. Yeah, so Ugandans, we are much more into regions, and we don't have aspects of that. The big fives, like going back to the point.
Do you know when the colonies left Uganda, they left power in whose hands?
Of course, they left in the hands of, I would call it the Kabaka, but later Obote took over, because Obote was a little bit educated. But the first president, we always call him being the Kabaka Mutesa one. He was the first president.
Kabaka Mutesa one. Was he the prime minister? What was the name?
The prime minister. He was a Kabaka, but still we add on the presidency. Then Obote was his prime minister, who later became the president. Yeah, because Obote was a little bit educated by then. Yeah, so you know the.
Do you know the history of? Do you know a little bit of that history of how? I mean, Uganda is coming from a very deadly history of violence, starting from Idi Amin, then to Obote, and then 1992 in Nakasero, all the way to now. Do you know that history? The first. So, I have never understood where the problem was. Because, like you said, that very, very clearly that as Ugandans you're not very tribalistic.
Not really.
So why were there so many coups in Uganda?
I think with a little bit knowledge that I have about the history of Uganda, why we had coups, it came up with the issues of leadership. If you realize, most of the people who later made the coups were fellow leaders, ministers within the same government. The same government. Our current president was in the previous governments before. And there's something good about him. He was once into the parliament. He was once a minister. Amin, who took over later from Obote, was into the military, was working with Obote. You know, Tito Kelo Lutua. So most of our leaders were just, okay, I've got the right word. The coups came out of disagreements within their cartels. Disagreements.
Nobody talks so much about Tito Kelo.
He ruled for a very short time.
When people were out for lunch.
We even had a president who ruled for months. He didn't even make a year. I think that was either was it Binaisa or something?
Binaisa.
Yeah.
Binaisa was a vice president at some point.
Yeah, ruled for months.
And Tito ruled for how long?
Tito Kelo, if at most, couldn't be more than two years. I think I need to check there. But not really so much. He ruled for a very short time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how you see a balance of the countrymen. Yeah, so it's not really about a particular area, except
I don't know if you guys talk about this in Uganda, but in Kenya we are pretty open about talking about politics. You know, we now have Mr. Ruto, who doesn't know what he's doing. You know, you see a lot of Gen Zs pouring in the streets and saying that Ruto must go. You know, I saw you Ugandans.
But you know the same people elected him.
Gen Zs didn't elect him.
Okay.
Yeah, Gen Zs did not vote for him.
Did they participate?
No, they did not. They did not.
And I read somewhere that never speak bad about the politics of your country if you did not participate in its making. Most times we shy out and say, I don't want anything to do with politics. But your contribution, your vote, or anything you would have done would have changed something. So if the Gen Z...
The Gen Zs hate his guts. They don't like him at all. They make fun of him all the time. But I also don't like him anyway, because I don't think he's a good president. He's made too many mistakes. But he
was in the government before. He was your vice president for the last...
But the vice president in Kenya is useless. Don't you see the one we have now is useless? They're useless. It is like... I wanted to give an example that would rub me the wrong way on the internet. But just for no. Let's go on with our podcast. When the Kenyan people were writing the new constitution, the new constitution was written in 2011 or when? I don't remember. Just the other day. They did not put a lot of effort in establishing what the vice president is going to do. Now, you see, in Uganda, I think that Museveni can actually fire the vice president.
Yeah, he can.
And bring another one tomorrow.
Yeah, the power has been given to the president to appoint.
Yeah, so it is when they are going for election, you don't hear about vice president.
Not much.
In Kenya, they tied it together. They tied it together. You cannot go and look for presidents without a deputy. It has to be in book.
Oh, it has to be in book.
Yes, it has to be on the book, and you can't fire him. No, you can't.
Wow, he becomes so powerful like that.
Yes,
No wonder I saw your recent reshuffles, the ministerial reshuffles in Kenya.
Yeah, but you didn't see you can't remove the vice president.
Wow.
By law. You can do whatever you want, but he will always be there until the term ends.
That's when you can. Do we decide that at the party level?
Yes.
Oh, but can't the party now fire the vice president?
You can't. Once
the term starts.
Once the term starts, you cannot remove him.
Wow.
You cannot remove him. You can only remove him from parliament via a vote of no confidence.
I also wanted to ask you a question that people shouldn't also mistake me. Why does Kenya always have issues with vice presidents?
That is the thing.
Yeah,
the issue.
Look at the previous vice president. Again, is there a demon in that office?
No. The problem with that office, let me tell you, it's a dubious office. It's an office that carries no proper function for the country. It is left upon the president
to assign
him the things to do. In the event that they are not in terms, the president does not need to assign him anything. And that is what happened in the previous government. That's what is now happening in this government.
But the fact that you made them not be able to be fired, that's already power.
It is useless power. They are there, but they can't do anything.
But they can misuse the power.
To do what?
So when I know that you can't fire me, I can say anything that I want.
Yeah, yes. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they are not in talking terms. Because they've been saying things that the president doesn't want to hear.
So,
But you see now, the other problem that we are having with the vice president in Kenya is the fact that most of the vice presidents have been used. The presidents used them. So, for example, let's talk about the previous regime. Kenya is voting along tribal lines. And in the last election, that is in 2013 and 2017, we had a Kikuyu guy trying to be elected as president. He looks around and says, where can I pick the vice president that guarantees me enough votes to cross the line?
It's not about potential.
No. Then he goes to the Kalenjins, which is actually the second or the third largest. Is it the third or the first? The second largest. And picks this guy.
Son of the soil.
The true Nilot. His Excellency. Ruto.
Yeah.
So he takes him and brings him here. And if you remember very clearly, in the first, because the president is supposed to go for two terms, which is 5-5. Yeah. In the first term, they are given a lot of respect.
True.
Because you need him for the second term.
True.
So if you look at the first 5 years of Ruto and Rail and Uhuru, it was like buddies, brothers. And then Uhuru, knowing that he has nothing to lose in the second term, that is when he started persecuting
the colleague.
Yes, the colleague. That is his Excellency, now his Excellency the President Ruto. He even refused him. He stopped him at an airport going to your country.
Wow.
Yeah. Told the whatever, the CID or the FBI of Kenya, called the guys and told them that plane should not take off.
Wow.
Yes, and he was not able to go. He remained here. And in the last 3 years of the 2017 election, they were not in talking terms.
That's why I said then demon in that office.
No, that thing is explainable. Hakuna mambo ya demon, brother.
Were they used? So does someone later feel that they were used?
Okay, but also the people that are going into that office are using somebody. You get? They are using somebody. The Ruto was using Uhuru to get to the vice presidential position.
Sure.
Because there is a lot of budget that is given to that office. And it is by law. Like Ruto cannot cut that budget.
So it's a very powerful...
Yes, if that's the power that you mean.
Ineffective office.
Yeah, it's a lot of power. It's got a big budget that is coming there. You have your own chasers, cars. You have your own, and the government cannot... It is very difficult for the government to take them away because it is in the constitution. Okay? So now we have Ruto not agreeing with Uhuru Kenyatta in the last 3 years of their 10-term rule. Okay? And then, because the Kikuyus had given, because the Kalenjins had given the Kikuyus lots of votes in their millions.
Now they felt it's their turn.
They felt that it is their time to give the Kalenjins their vote. But the president did not agree and refused to endorse President Ruto. President Ruto goes behind him and picks a Kikuyu to be his deputy.
To win back.
To win back. And these guys, the masses, seeing that these guys came through for us in 2013, came through for us in 2017, we got to give them something.
Give them an opportunity.
Yes. And they say, and because he has taken our tribesman to be his second in command,
we are still
why
somewhere.
not? You see, but remember, the vice president Rai was the bosom friend to Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yeah.
Like they were so close.
True.
You see, but the demon, if you're talking about the demon in this whole thing, then it is the Nilot called Raila Odinga. So, you know, what happens is when 2021 elections or 2022? 2021 elections, Uhuru decides to endorse Raila Odinga.
This last here.
Yes.
And we don't know where the marriage came from.
Yes.
Just all of a sudden.
Yes, and the people of Mount Kenya say on our dead body. That witch from Nyanza, we are not voting for him. And then what do they decide? They decide that all the votes is going to Ruto. As a thank you for what they did to the tribe in 2013 and 2017. Okay? Okay. Now, once they get into government, remember Gachagua, who is the vice president right now, did not see eye to eye with Raila Odinga and his friend, Uhuru Kenyatta. When Ruto gets into government, guess who he brings close? Raila Odinga.
Wow.
Now Raila is in government. How do you feel that the guy is feeling?
Oh, I get the genesis.
You see? So now this guy, the vice president, is looking like a fool because he told the people of Central, which are Kikuyus, that this is not somebody that we should vote.
True.
Oh, your arch enemy, Uhuru Kenyatta, brought him in and it was a big problem. He called him a good man. And you, together with your president, called him a bad man. Now you have formed a government, your friend now in government, calling him a good man. Who is the fool?
He becomes the fool.
Yeah. He said it himself in the press, that I have never felt like a fool, more of a fool in my life. So
it's all about that. Now, that's the point, the question you asked about what causes all these disagreements. But a point came to my mind when you're talking all about what's happening in Africa and East Africa, even Uganda, Kenya. There's a country that I know that you love in East Africa. That's Rwanda.
Yeah.
I feel Rwanda is run like a business. There's little. I may not know much about that happens in Rwanda, the political bit, but what we hear more about, there's a lot of image rights protection. Less about, the politics doesn't make a lot of noise in Rwanda. Rwanda is all about the economy, growth, and all that. I would admire that for a country. I would admire
I would admire a balance, if you asked me. I would admire a balance, because if you look at the United States of America, they are big on business.
True.
But they are also big in their politics.
Seasonal. They are seasonal on their politics.
Yeah.
And the US, it's a private sector running the US. When you get into a country where the politics makes more noise than the business, the economy, and the country's economy, at times you want to say, okay, we have the peace. Why should I have the peace if my economy is bad? Do we have this called Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
They may be peaceful right now, but have a look at the economy.
Yeah, I was in Zambia the other day, and they only had the power for 3 hours in 24 hours.
No. Okay, you have the peace, but look at the economy. So, in terms of countries, other things I feel we should look into.
Let's go back to Uganda a little bit and talk about the economy. What drives the economy of Uganda?
Agriculture, still.
Export?
Export. I would call it export in terms of agricultural produce. The next coffee we talk about, I always want to call it basically Ugandan coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ugandan coffee. So the Ugandan's economy, basically the biggest aspect that really drives the economy has been agriculture. We are trying with these other aspects of tourism. We're trying maybe with a little bit of trade. Actually trade really also contributes a lot in terms of, but agriculture, trade, tourism, and such benchmarks. We haven't started much about oil, though it's coming. We have oil in Uganda. I hope you know that.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't become a curse like the Nigerian oil.
Leadership.
I hope that it doesn't become a curse. Tell me about your internet. You've got very fucked up internet, bro.
Yeah,
what's going on with your internet?
I love the aspect you've been talking about internet and internet. It's true, and Kenya has better internet than Uganda. But I think it's all about the people, the people and the minds in some of these offices. If the moment you realize that the internet infrastructure is the biggest contributor to the economy, some will not know that, So we need to have technocrats, and I think I've said it rightly. We need to have technocrats in the right offices. They'll make the right decisions. Who is the current minister do you have minister of ICT?
Yeah, but for us,
Is a minister someone there?
The Kenyan IT sector is run by the private sector. Just like you said.
Yeah.
The government is just there to tick.
Exactly.
But Safaricom, JTL, that is called fiber, we have Zuku, we have Liquid Telecom, they are always fighting over the space. So the government has got very little to do.
So we have Rocket, we have Airtel, we have them. But I think I don't know whether it's our buying power or the monopolism. You have not
Taken the fiber optic to doors.
Oh, it's there. In my home, I'm using fiber. At home.
Yeah, but you're one of the rich Ugandans.
Wow.
They have only taken to Munyonyo. No.
So we have fiber. It's only that fiber also goes much more into the urban areas.
Yes. And the other thing that I wanted to ask you, and I want you to give me a clear example.
And I remember
a clear answer as somebody who uses it. You remember Ghana also had the problem, still has the problem of internet, where they connected homes via a fiber optic cable, but they were still selling MBs.
No, I think it's a business structure now. Even in Uganda, it's in terms of Mbps, the speed.
Yes. There is a difference between the speed,
and the data.
Yeah. So in
Uganda right now, we buy the fiber. We buy speed.
Okay.
In Uganda,
that's good.
We don't buy MBs. We buy speed.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's what we buy right now.
that is good.
So you pay according to the speed that you want.
How much do you pay for what speed? Do you know your packages
I think
in dollars?
our packages in dollars, we have packages of $100. Also, we have one less than $100. That's around $60.
$60.
$60, $120. Yeah, remember.
So the the list is $60.
We have even $50. But I'm trying to something that would really help.
Kenya starts at Kenya starts at $15.
But no, fiber?
Yeah.
Wow, we really.
You see now you're saying wow.
Yeah, because by the time then also it's utility. It's a utility. Now you here there are people who really need it, who know the value. We talk about Mbps, the speed. Others buy data. They don't want to know about what speed it is. Say, oh, all I bought from Safaricom this much. Whether it was slow or what, they don't mind. So it's just about the knowledge. And I think we need to educate people much more and, see how.
Yeah, which is amazing. Let's talk about your what you do. That is, you're very big on entrepreneurship and networking. Tell me about that and why it is important in 2024 for people to be networking.
I love I love entrepreneurship because of the world is so busy right now because everyone is in entrepreneurship. Of recent I was thinking about something. There's something we call intrapreneurship. Entrepreneurship means you could be having an employee, but you having an employee who thinks like an entrepreneur. You have an accountant, but she or he has to think like an entrepreneur. What value are you adding to that company? What business are you bringing to that company? You see, that's not entrepreneurship. That's why even if someone is employed, you have to put a demand on them to work along with the business goals. Not just waiting, the month has ended, guy, I want my cut, I want my salary. You want your salary, what have you brought on the table? Your presence? Your presence? So that is an entrepreneurship. But the bigger view of entrepreneurship is how we make, it's an activity. It's how we bring people into producing something, into some innovation aspect. And why do I love entrepreneurship again? Because the job market or the job phase has disappointed very many. We have very many unused or untapped potential. We talked about that in terms of graduates who are all waiting for a certain job. Someone will be saying, but I'm waiting. Someone is still waiting for someone to die so that they could occupy that office. But that same person is also praying to God to live long. So instead of just looking at that person, why can't we create something? Why can't we create? Now that is entrepreneurship aspect. That's why I encourage people. Let us create. Come up with ideas. Come up with a solution. Business is a solution you give to people, to humanity. That's business. And when it comes to the aspect, to the social aspect, you can't do it alone. I already see your wife.
Yeah.
You have children?
One.
Without that wife, you wouldn't have a child.
Correct.
For that child to come into the picture, two different people had to come together. There's a way God created creativity and aspects of productivity. He doesn't want like-minded people do not produce creativity. I believe you're totally the opposite of your wife. But still you come up to produce something. So that's when in the entrepreneurship aspect, I say, no, we don't have to all think alike. We all have to bring in our different energies. For the people into science, they'll tell you water is made out of what? Different components make up water. You understand? Even for a child to be, we needed a woman, different sex, a male to come together to produce a child. So that is where the social aspect comes in. We need to work together for the betterment of our entrepreneurial community. That's my heart. No one will be remembered as, this person he had the biggest car. He had the most luxury. That's not something we should be remembered for. We have to be remembered of the influence, the impact that we did within our communities. I don't know what you're doing in your village, but there is a young man you can inspire there. In Uganda, we have women who sell, I think they're also in Kenya, they sell fruits by the street side. They must also be there somewhere. And you may find what they are carrying is less than $30 or $20. But that's everything they're living on. The livelihood of the families depend on that. But life is moving on. So how about someone holding an iPhone and is waiting for a job? But have we told them that using that, you can use your iPhone to make money? Or if not, you can actually trade it off. Sell it off. So we have to do something. That's why I'm so... Sometimes, I remember sometimes back, life was really hard. That at times, the journey of entrepreneurship, you feel like, do I really get a job? It's like I'm on the right track. Are things really working out? Because as an entrepreneur, you create your own path. You don't wait for it. But at times it is hard. You have a family. So what do you have to do? You have to persist. Come up with new ideas, new products. So this podcast is a product that people have to buy. And by the way, it's so valuable to be on this product. On this product. You have something to give people. That's why I'm so much into entrepreneurship and social networking. Very much.
You talk about, in your upcoming book, you talk about helping parents to create entrepreneurs out of their children.
Yeah.
Tell me about why that is important.
I talk about the entrepreneur kid and how parents should help their kids become entrepreneurs. We need to look ahead. We shouldn't be in the repetitive cycle of go to school, get good grades, and get a job. We have now to start thinking outside the box. Right now, even in the education sector, do you know that we have most parents who are homeschooling their kids?
Yes.
People now are homeschooling. Why? They want to give them a certain kind of knowledge. People know that at the end of it all, it's not about grades, my child becoming a doctor. I believe when we were growing up, we had very few professions we admired. When I grew up, I wanted to become a pilot. When I grew up, I wanted to become a doctor. When I grew up, I wanted to become... No one said that when I grew up, I wanted to become a farmer. So we have to prepare our kids to know that it's not about a profession. It's about the creativity. It's about serving community. It's about coming up with creativity. Coming up with something that we can, not even just selling, something that will solve a community need. Business. That's business. So why should the parents do that? Parents have to prepare. And it will take, the way I write that book, it's much more actually fast to the parent to later instill the culture into the child. Because if you're a parent who believes much more in a profession, are you going to inspire your child to become an entrepreneur? No. So we need to let these kids know. In my house, I have a small, it's just like I created a table. It's like a lemonade stand. Let me call it like a lemonade stand. It's a stand. I teach my kids. When we would go with them to the supermarket and my kids would be moving around. Daddy, I want this. I want this. And you know, when every time everything they point at you, it has a pointer to your wallet. Whatever they point has a pointer to your wallet. So at times you hold their hands, let's move together. What do you want? Pick this.
Yes.
You know. So later I realized we can teach these kids to become something. So I wanted my kids to know the value in everything that we purchase. So what we did, we created a table. It's like a market table in the house. We used to go with them. They loved moving with us to the supermarket. We go with them. So later I started, whatsoever we needed at home, we would purchase it and take it to their table. Right? After taking that to their table, now we come and buy it from them. We tell them, this is your stock. That became their market. So when you want bread, oh, Finny, we need bread. I have bread. How much are you selling your bread? And we told them the value of bread. So he knows that maybe the bread may be $1.5. We have to pay. In our minds, it's not that we are paying him. We are instilling a certain culture for him to know that this bread was bought at a price. Then when we go, time came now, when we are going back to the supermarket or in other shops now, actually time came, we stopped the supermarket, he had to start looking for where the bread is sold cheaply. So that when he's selling it to us, it's now at a certain profit level. You start with the supermarket that is fancy, but later you show them, you know what? The real business is downtown. The real business is downtown. So we created that aspect. What else did we do? We created a table so that a child could start moving around the house and now, I see these guys' tomatoes are getting done. Then he comes saying, but daddy, we have to buy some tomatoes. Not for the home, for him. Why? Because he already has a client. He already has what? A client. From there, you're picking your child, and now you're taking him next to a supermarket or any area. Create for them a table. Business is about trade. They don't teach us about money in schools. They don't. You ask a graduate, what is your salary expectation?
So that means that you're buying twice.
I'm buying twice because I am instilling. The first purchase was his capital. Now it has to run. It has to grow. He has his savings. He has to now know, okay, what other products should I bring on table? This guy is here. I already see, they look through our shopping list.
Once you have given him the first money to go buy bread, you bring the bread at home and they resell it to you for the second time. Do you give them money? What is the next money for bread?
No. He has to restock. He has to restock. That's his shop now. A child has to start it from home. The point is not the market at home. The point is a mindset. Because to be honest, the master's degree we talked about, and the every kind of degree. Some people don't have sales knowledge. This world is about sales. Teach a child how to sell. Teach a child how to be aggressive. The richest population in most countries are downtown, are the uneducated people. And they are employing the educated people. That's why I want to encourage the parents, please. The knowledge the children need right now is about how to add value in the community. And one of the ways and the best ways to add value in the community, is to be entrepreneurs. I write 50 business ideas. 50 of them. A child can be within a community and start selling fruits. And when you look at a child selling something, you'll be driven to buy. A child will move around and start mowing around some people's compounds. Go and slash with a mower. Teach a child. You have a home garden somewhere. Teach the child how to plant some fruit, some vegetables. Sell.
Exactly. Man, we can speak until tomorrow. We have got 1 hour, 24 minutes, which is well above our time by 24 minutes.
Wow.
It was really, really nice having you.
Thank you.
I wish you the best in your writing.
Thank you.
And I wish you guys have a better, affordable internet.
We have now.
Yeah.
We now have.
$60 is a lot.
No, I talked about the high end. But still, if you want something good, really.
Yeah, so thank you very much, people of the internet. That was us talking about Uganda, one of my favorite countries. The good food, the good weather, the good women,
The good people.
The good people.
You're leaving out the men, the good people.
Yeah, the good people. Who cares about good people? Who care about other women? All right, until another episode, bye for now.